Dear everyone, greetings from Asian Productivity Organization. Hope everyone is staying safe and healthy during this pandemic. This is live from the APO Secretariat Office in Tokyo, Japan, and we welcome all our viewers from APO member countries and beyond. I am Asaitambi Monikam, and thanks to our viewers for joining us on this APO Productivity Talk series. And today we will discuss about food sector innovations. First, we need to ask if our current food production system in the agriculture is sustainable one or not. Because food security is a big concern by 2050 due to rapid increase of global population. And according to UN FAO, the food demand would increase exponentially, more than 50%. The agri-food industry faces different challenges due to changing global markets, technological disruption, climate change issue, and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So, what could be the solution to meet the increasing demand of food and ensure food security for next generation, particularly in the enterprises involved in agri-food sector? To answer these questions and discuss further in detail, dear viewers, I'm very much delighted to welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Yusuf Tokdebir, Agri-Food Industry Specialist from Turkey. How are you today, Mr. Yusuf?
Thank you very much, Asaim. Fine. I am fine.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Before we get into further detailed discussion on this topic, let me share a video clip from UN FAO on how innovation is important for food and agri sector. Let's have a look.
Productive and efficient agri-food systems provide us with food that nourishes us and livelihoods that support our communities. Nevertheless, agri-food systems are not performing as efficiently as they should. More than 3 billion people around the world lack access to healthy diets. 690 million suffer from hunger, while 2 billion consume low-quality diets, leading to micronutrient deficiencies and higher levels of obesity. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused significant disruptions to food systems, already affected by other stressors, such as transboundary pests and diseases, natural disasters, conflict, and climate change. Transformation of agri-food systems can help transition them to better deliver safe, affordable, and healthy diets to the world's rapidly growing population. At the same time, improvements must contribute to inclusive economic and social development. Innovation is a central driving force for transforming agri-food systems. Digital technologies are one example of innovation. Digital agri-food systems innovation includes online platforms, precision agriculture based on sensors, geodata and artificial intelligence, e-extension, e-commerce and digital technologies for rural finance. Additional examples are blockchain and food sensing technologies delivering transparency, traceability, food safety and quality along the food value chains. Most of these solutions are generated by the private sector. Currently, adoption of these innovative approaches by small and poor producers is still significantly hampered by the digital divide. Public investments in rural connectivity, digital literacy, farmer registration in digital database, and adequate policy and incentive frameworks are needed to bridge the divide and allow for more widespread global adoption of digital agriculture transformation. But it is not only about technology. Innovation is all about solving complex problems and adding value in new ways. Farmers, herders, foresters and fisherfolks are at the center of innovation. As custodians of natural resources, they have always innovated to find new solutions to complex issues. Inclusive business models such as contract farming allow producers better access to markets and a more stable income. Adoption of geographic indicators labels for food products generate improved market position and incomes. And recent online agriculture worker platforms help meet supply and demands during COVID-19. But all these innovations must ensure access to rural communities in developing countries, especially women and youth. Women are key players throughout all stages of agri-food systems transformation. Likewise, youth are poised to make a major contribution to this transformation by applying their education, entrepreneurial potential, and technological savviness to support innovation, and shepherding adoption of innovative solutions within their communities. Public-private partnerships will be crucial to help bridge investment gaps in infrastructure and access to facilitate smallholders' participation in the digital economy. Pilot public-private innovation projects targeting developing countries' farmers are promising. The Ezoko digital and e-commerce platform connects over 1 million farmers in 10 African countries to essential services, resulting in a 10 to 12% increase in revenues for those farmers. SMS services disseminating key market information to farmers in Peru helped bolster prices for their products by 13 to 14%. The response measures to COVID-19 can also serve as important catalysts for innovation, accelerating the transformation of food systems towards more inclusiveness and sustainability, and fostering employment opportunities and access to healthy diets for the world's most vulnerable.
As you have seen in the video, innovation is the central driving force for transforming agri-food systems. Adoption of digital technologies also one of the innovation in the agri-food system, which includes online platforms, precision agriculture based on sensor, geodata, and artificial intelligence, e-extension, e-commerce, and digital technologies for rural finance. It provides numerous opportunities along the value chains. Additional examples are like a blockchain and food sensing technologies delivering transparency, traceability, food safety, and quality along the food value chain. So, in today's talk, Mr. Yusuf will explain the food sector innovations and the successful case studies from few countries. Before I invite Mr. Yusuf to start his presentation, we would like to encourage our viewers to send your questions and comments in the chat box with your name and country, and we would respond to your questions during Q&A session. Mr. Yusuf, now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Asai, for these valuable informations. At first, I would like to introduce myself. I am from Turkey as an agri-food industry expert. I would like to give important information about the food sector innovations. Yeah. When we look to the world at this moment, we are living in a complex business conditions. The global markets are changing. We have increasing global competition, and technological disruption is increasing every year. We have climate and water-related risks and global economic shocks. And finally, now we have coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic conditions. All are the challenges. Of course, these challenges can create opportunities for the world people. Yeah. And if we look at the opportunities and challenges altogether, at this moment, we have for example, digital transformation and how we can use the water-related risks to create opportunities, and how we can escape from the COVID-19 pandemic conditions. So we have to make some changes in the biodiversity and ecosystem services to improve our agri-food industry production and growth. Yeah. Today we have to we have to feed many people. In 2050, our world population will be 9.7 million people. And we have massive deforestation at this moment. And climate volatility and changing weather conditions and water issues, we have some droughts and soil degradation, for example, soil salination. So soil quality is decreasing. Uh, High levels of greenhouse gas emissions due to the increase in agricultural works, high pressure in healthcare, food and water, and global competition and changes in the trade policies we have. And also there are changes, technology, production, and services, and business models. And there is a competition and increase in corporate investment and cybersecurity issues, high external input and resource intensive agricultural systems, all are pushing to make more innovations in agri-food industry. Of course, the solution is to make innovation management. So what we have to do? We have to identify and profile the opportunities in a clear way, in a detailed way. Effectively secure supply chains from farm to the fork. And we have to apply good manufacturing practices, good hygiene practices, or good laboratory practices, good agricultural practices, good integrated past integrated management system practices, and develop and implement long-term strategic innovation and marketing action plan to make growth, productivity, and profitability and market access. And achieve all these will contribute to growth, productivity, profitability, and internationalization for the food SMEs. Yeah. We have to remain competitive in the agri-food markets. For example, as an SME, what we have to do? We have to build our capacity and increase our experience and skills and knowledge. We have to be visible and communicate with the customers and consumers. We have to create a strong brand. So awareness of the customers and consumers should be high. And we have to create an innovation culture in our organization. And we have to have a global mindset. Of course, financial resources are very important. So we have the ability to access or to find finance. And we have to have collaborative innovation ecosystem. So this means that we have to create networks, alliances, or joint ventures, or cooperation with other food SMEs or other companies. We have to collaborate on a global scale, not on the local scale or domestic scale. We have to cooperate with other companies in the international markets, in the global markets. We have to focus on the end consumer, what they need, what they demand. So we have to know, we have to analyze all these parameters. And we have to focus tailored and personalized nutrition. Due to emerging infectious diseases, the people or persons, they prefer more green, clean, ethical, and safe products and personalized nutrition. So we have to consider on these. We have to be careful about the product transparency. It means that product quality and safety and traceability from the farm to the fork. We have to ensure traceability. and sustainability and ecosystem services. These are very important. We have to protect our biodiversity and ecosystem services in the land and all the aqua systems. Otherwise, we cannot increase our agricultural and food production levels. And we have to use next generation technologies or digital technologies to increase the agri-food output. Of course, we have to have a agri-food risk management action plan. This is very important because I see that some SMEs or companies working in agri-food industry, sometimes they have product recalls, some food safety issues in the market or in the plants. So we have to be very careful about the labeling. So we have to consider the domestic standards, international standards, for example, Codex Alimentarius, or national standards. So we have to apply or the standards in our products very carefully, because if you look at to the market, so label issues, undeclared allergens, microbial contamination, foreign matter, for example, tampering, chemical or other residues or contaminants, biotoxins, and different physical, chemical, and microbial contaminants we can face. So we have to apply domestic and international standards and food law very carefully from the farm to the fork, all the along supply chain. We have to make smart specialization and to increase the agricultural production and internationalization. This is very important because we have to have research and development and innovation, and we have to go to market and technology trends, and we have to check the regulations, and we have to make long-term investment plans, and we have to increase our people knowledge and capacity and improve the facilities in technology and other opportunities. Of course, we have to reach financial sources. We have to create financial sources, and we have to go international markets more and more. And we have to make product launches. So all these activities will create competitive advantages in health, people health, human health, quality, safety, technology, sensory and structure of the foods, and people skills and financial resources, and increase cooperation and collaboration opportunities and networks. So it will improve the gender equality and sustainability, environmental protection, and internationalization, and bio-based economy we can create if we consider all these parameters. So when we look at the food industry now, collaborations and cluster formations are, the number of these are increasing. For example, Food Valley from Netherlands and Enterprise Singapore, they are collaborating on protein shift innovation. So these collaborations are very important in today's complex business world. Okay, now when we look at to the market, emerging technologies are increasing, and these technologies contribute more growth and increase in the agri-food output. What are those? Robotics, biotechnology, data measurement and data analysis, weather monitoring, for example, animal monitoring, geospatial monitoring, irrigation and fertigation equipment, And for example, open fields, you can make fertigation. This means that you are using water in irrigation and water and fertilizer together. And then you can increase your output by using less water and less fertilizers. Satellite imagery, digital infrared, heat sensors, pest management, harvesting, biometric sensor, all are now are used in agri-food industry or agriculture, especially to increase the agricultural or crop input output or animal output. Today, 70% of the global supply is consumed in the cities or in urban regions. So we have to improve our urban food systems, especially during this emerging infectious disease period, COVID-19, because we see that there are some gaps, some weakness or challenges we have in the urban food system. So how we can do this? We have to improve our inclusive and resilient food system. We have to focus on local agroecological production, and we have to improve or increase urban and peri-urban agriculture. We have to create short supply chains so we can produce agri-food products close to urban region and sell in the cities or close cities. So efficient and safe distribution system we can create so we can provide self-sufficiency in the urban region or peri-urban region, so we can improve our social protection programs so that we improve biodiversity and ecosystem services in the environs, and this will contribute to the gender equality. And of course, we have to support women's empowerment and entrepreneurship in the urban and peri-urban environs. Okay, let's look at what are the best practices of the sustainable agriculture. We have to increase agricultural productivity, enhance resilience to climate stresses, and reduce greenhouse gas emissions by applying climate-friendly and sustainable agricultural practices and technologies in the farm level. So what are those? Smart knowledge management, smart nutrient management, smart energy management, smart carbon management, and agroforestry, climate-smart livestock, integrated pest management, smart weather forecast management systems. Today, we have emerging diseases and infectious emerging disease. So these are creating health, food safety, and security. So what we have to do, what we have to focus on, these are organic farming. For example, European Union targets to make or to increase organic farming or organic land 25% by 2030. So we have to improve ecosystem pollinators because they affect 75% of the world's food crops. Biodiversity and ecosystem services, they affect half of global GDP. For example, 20 trillion euro. Plant pesticides and fertilizers, we have to focus on these. We have to decrease the use of these. Animal antibiotics, they create drug resistance. So every year we have 700,000 deaths per year, according to the World Health Organization. We have to develop and launch green, clean, ethical, and safe products. Of course, we have to launch and apply digital transformation. And there are other good opportunities at this moment. These sectors are developing. These are agrigenomics, agroecology, fertigation systems, hydroponics, digital farming, and green cities. So if we focus on all of these, we can improve our agri-food industry and increase food production, agri-food production, and then feed 9.7 billion people in 2050. When we look at to the world, there are good practices or best practices in agri-food specialization and cluster formations, clusters. These are very important. For example, the first one is the triple helix approach created by the industry, academia, and government in Netherlands. So they created uh, they created Seed Valley, for example, Green Ports, Food Valley. So all are different approaches in collaboration as an agri-food development hub or cluster. So agrigenomics, for example, why it is helpful? Because it improve food quality, increase yields, decrease food waste, improve crop health, improve animal health, improve biodiversity and ecosystem services. Because this is the new technology, and you can analyze genomic content of the plants and animals, and then you can improve the breeding system, and then you can grow new crops or animals resistant to droughts or frost, etc. Yeah, this agrigenomic industry is very important. In other system, for example, hydroponic fodder production, especially in drought countries or places, this system is very helpful in feeding the animals, cattle or sheep or goats. So you can grow, for example, barley or wheat or other crops in a closed place, and 8 or 9 days you can harvest and feed your animals, livestock. So it is very good technology. Okay, when we look at Japan, now they are trying to decrease the greenhouse gas level and increase the agri-food production by achievement of the decarbonization and with the innovation in the agri-food industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for your wonderful and detailed presentation, which was very informative as well. Yes, it was a very eye-opening session to learn the innovations and also the opportunities available for SMEs in the agri-food sector. One of your slides here pointed out that we have to remain competitive in the market by adopting the innovation culture with the global mindsets, and which was one of the strategies for a sustainable farm also. And also you explained about the creation of agri-food risk management action plan, the importance of building agri-food clusters, and development of a sustainable urban food system. And also there were case studies which you explained from Netherlands and also the Singapore. That was very impressive. Thanks again for sharing your thoughts with us. Now we open the floor for questions. We have a few questions from audience. First, let me take the questions from Mr. Ahmad Zalaluddin. I'm not sure from which country. Yes, let me go through his questions. Who should play what kind of role in managing the innovation systems? How that can be delegated? So, what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. In innovation, the system, for example, if we are a company, food producing company, the leadership, top management is responsible. Of course, they can create an innovation or department or unit responsible for the research and development, marketing, innovation altogether. But leadership and top management commitment and support is the most important factor to make innovation successful. This is my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. I understand that the innovations, for example, in SMEs, top management or the leadership should delegate the kind of environment should taken place for the SMEs.
Yeah.
Thanks for your thought process on that. And I have a second question from Rashmi Singh. The question goes like that. Local farmers are engaged in grassroots innovations, but scaling up or outscaling looks very difficult for these innovations. So, what could be the kind of strategy must be in place for easing these bottlenecks or hurdles? What the farmers or at the grassroots level, what they face challenges? What is your answer for that?
I think the best way is to make smart specialization or smart farming altogether. For example, we can think a local region, a town or province. For example, what type of crops or plants or animals we can grow there. For example, if we make this production of the crops, for example, one type or two types crops, if we collaborate all these farmers together, they can create financial opportunity, visibility, and awareness in the domestic and international markets. Alone, it is not easy, but they have to create small hubs and specialize it for one crop or two crops or one agri-food system so that they can collaborate with the universities, government, and also international markets. I think collaboration is the most important parameter. Alone, as a farmer, individually, it is not easy, I understand well. So they have to create small hubs. So regional or local development opportunity it will create. And they have to increase their visibility. They have to improve all the supply chain and they have to check all the nation from which country, for example, if they want to export their products, they have to know custom systems and regulations and labeling and so food safety risks, etc. They have to consider all these and improve in their system from the farm to the processing line and then making shipment to the other countries. So they have to improve their capability, skills, and experience, and then step by step they can be international. But they have to make cooperate and smart specialize it. I think that this is my answer.
Yeah, thanks for that insights on that question. Yes, my next question goes like this. So you explained in your presentation like there are different parameters actually driving for the SMEs or the food industries. Out of that, which you would consider as the most important success drivers for food manufacturing industries or SMEs?
Yeah. Asai, this question is very important. The most important parameters or key success drivers, I think that increasing the experience and skills. I think it start here, and then controlling or analyzing all the supply chain along all the supply chain for the quality and safety parameters, and benchmarking. For example, if you are producing a product, and if you want to enter to the different markets, you have to check your competitors in quality, technology, their targets, short, medium, and long-term targets. And you have to improve your technology. You have to consider competitor companies, and also accordingly, you have to improve your technology and management systems and financial resources. So you have to find what you can do. You can collaborate with different companies in domestic level and international level. And of course, in today's IoT or internet age, we have to improve our visibility and communication channels. We have to improve our innovative knowledge and create innovative culture in the organization. And we have to focus or create a long-term marketing and innovation action plan and regularly revise this. I think these are the most important success factors.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Very well noted on your point that the innovation, we need to give a more weightage for the innovation culture in any kind of a startup or SMEs. So that's going to be a long-term sustainable solution for that sector. Well noted on that point. And from one of your answers for our viewers' questions, that you have mentioned that a smart specialization. So, could you please give more elaborative answers? So, what is exactly smart specialization? How they can enhance agri-food industry development, say in a particular region? Say if it is kind of Asia or within Asia, if you take like a least developed countries or medium level developing countries, something like that. If you categorize particular countries, how you would kind of give your thoughts on this point, smart specialization.
Yeah. Smart specialization. For example, in Turkey, northeast of Turkey, we are producing tea. So in 1930s, 1940s, the government made some trial productions, and finally, all this region now, for different provinces, they are producing tea. So, and this tea production is sufficient Turkish market, and some of them are exported to other countries. So this is a smart specialization, because farmers and government and universities all together cooperated. They created a new industry. For example, we can do in a small scale in a region. For example, if there is a good production of nut or good production of grape or something, fig, or apricot, for example, farmers, they have to collaborate together. They have to create a financial source from government, universities, or external sources, and then as a collaborative manner, they can increase their production and simplify the market access in domestic or international markets. For example, in Turkey, we have an apricot region. Malatya is the best. And Malatya is the most producing province in Turkey. And Turkey is exporting more than 300 million US dollar dry apricots per year. So 90% of this production is produced in Malatya region. There are food SMEs producing or processing and harvesting. So technology and production, good farming practices, organic and conventional altogether, they created an agri-food system. This is smart specialization, I think. So countries, they can do this, or some regions, they can do this, and grow in domestic market, and then go to the international market. I think it is very good system.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. I think you are really enlightened that point, a smart specialization. Well received on that point. My next question goes about the very natural phenomenon which happens in many countries. I would say like food recalls in the market. So it is happening in different countries for various reasons. But could you, from your experience, so what do you think the basic reasons why those food recalls is happening in the market?
Yeah, the reason is this is related with your analyzing capability or testing capability and detecting what are the risks. So at first, in a food manufacturing facility, most important thing, risk parameters. We have to identify all these risk parameters very well. So we have to check the local or national standards, food regulations, international regulations. And now, for example, we have rapid alert systems in different in some countries and also European Union. So each country is applying such systems. So what are the issues in the market? And we have to know. And what type of contaminants or residues we can face in our product. In the from the farm to the fork, we have to research on this very well, and then train all the people and making regular analysis. If we have a risk parameters, for example, wheat flour we are purchasing, and in wheat, what type of contaminants or issues we can face, we have to know this. It may be, for example, ochratoxin A. If we are purchasing, for example, rice in a region close to the lead mining, etc., so we have to check the lead. Is there or no? For example, apple. If we are producing apple, if we are using apple juice or apple puree, for example, we have to check patulin. Patulin is a mycotoxin. So we should know this. And these are very good parameters. And people working many years in factories, they know these failures. But if we remove these people and then hire new people, and if we don't train these people and develop their skills, they may fail because they don't know history in the factory or production facility. So people experience and skills are very, very important, and regularly control in the manufacturing facility. So this means that from the farm to the consumer, we have to analyze, we have to identify all the risk parameters very well.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. I think you have explained it very in detail, right from the farm to the farm to fork, how we have to be very careful in each and every parameter so that we could avoid the risk for this kind of food recalls. Yes, thank you. Thanks for that explanation. Now, my next question goes on the SMEs. For example, there are so many, again, during this pandemic, many SMEs, they got affected. The pandemic impact was huge, but still, and from our for your experience, if you'd like to add kind of suggestions as how these SMEs can rebound or regrowth to achieve their growth, profitability, and also going for internationalizations. So what is your thoughts or suggestions for especially SMEs which they are really battling to grow?
Yeah, very good question. Food SMEs, I think that at first they have to create a diversified portfolio, but the number of the products in this portfolio, they have to check that which products, several products, for example, 1, 2, 3, which ones are demanded more from the market. At first, they have to focus these. But some companies, they develop and launch 100, 200, or 300, for example, or 50 different products. And they try which one is good. And this means that their inventory cost and production cost is very high. So they have to decrease this or reduce the inventory cost, production cost. So several products they have to focus, and they have to increase the visibility and awareness of these products and consumers together, and focus on these. And step by step, they have to go international markets. So only several products, one or two products, international markets, they have to focus at first one country. Which country most demand for these food products? So they have to learn, they have to adapt their company to external market, and take necessary measures to apply the food laws, standards, etc., and label changes they have to make, and custom works and export management. So what are the issues, what type of failures we can face? They have to identify, they have to analyze, and they have to analyze also competitors in that markets. They have to be very careful. But if they analyze all the parameters and create a risk management action plan, and also export management action plan or marketing plan. So I think that they can make successful market access and grow in the international markets. This is not easy, but I think they can do. So more visibility, more communication, and more alliances or networking or collaborations, joint ventures, they have to create in the international market. So in today's complex business conditions, more networking and collaboration in international level, I think it is the best way.
Thank you,
This is
Mr.
my
Yusuf. Yeah. Sorry for the technical glitch, what we are facing now. Yes, we have a question from audience. Yes, the person name is not mentioned. The number is identified as a 1212. Do you have the roadmap for food sector innovation? I think it's a very broad question. So, what is your thoughts on
Yeah.
that, Mr. Yusuf?
This roadmap starts from the farm and go to the consumer. So this means that along this value chain, we have to identify all the risks, analyze, and take measures. And we have to create an organization in the or small organization in the food company, and focus on these process parameters and success drivers, key performance indicators, and then I think that we can create an action plan, action roadmap. So, and we can successfully deliver the results. So this is a general question, of course, but so we need to create an action plan from the farm to the fork. I think it is the best way, and a special unit in the organization, from marketing, from production, from supply chain, and research and development all together. A specific team, innovation team, I think they can handle, they can deliver outputs, targeted outputs.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Your nice comment. And I have another questions. Again, this is again the general questions regarding again with the agri-food sector. And from your expertise or experience, what do you think about the competitive intelligence or the competitive advantages for the agri-food industry?
Yeah, yeah, competitive in today we have to make market research not only about the products. So competitive intelligence normally is searching for the more information about the competitors, how they are working, technology, human skills, their experience, marketing plan, their innovation plan, how they are working from the farm, for example, to the fork. You have to understand, for example, their long-term targets in after 3 years later, 5 years later. And also, for example, if you want to enter an international market, who will come? Which company can come there? For example, you have to know. Or what type of new technologies they can create. So so if we analyze all these, we can create competitive advantages. But sometimes these competitive advantages can be transient competitive advantages. Now, look at the mobile phones, for example. 6 months, 1 year, or 2 years later, some companies are lost, they fail. But in agri-food industry, this is long term. We can create competitive advantages, good products today. But 2 years later, a new competitor can come, can create more competitive advantages, and increase sales, for example, from 10% to 90%, for example. So this means that you have to intelligence and create or develop and launch long-term marketing and innovation action plan and regularly revise these. Otherwise, we can lose or we can fail. This is my answer.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for your valuable insights. And yes, that was my last question to you. And I hope all our viewers found your information and insightful, very useful for them in their like a sector, wherever they work or they do the business. And dear viewers, and in the interest of time, and also what we face a little bit of technical glitch here, so we would like to ask you to post your questions in the comment section, and we will respond those questions after we discuss with Mr. Yusuf. And sorry for the inconvenience caused due to the technical glitch. And thank you very much, and thanks a lot for joining this session. And yes, the APO Productivity Talk will be held every week, featuring the leading experts in different fields. So please subscribe this APO channel and stay tuned. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Thank